Hello, Fabulous Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of May 2013. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. So there are two eclipses this month. There was an eclipse last month in the month of April. And this is all setting us up very nicely for a very active and important celestial climate coming up a little bit later this summer. Now, for you, as I said, there are two eclipses, and I do think that it's actually going to be the second eclipse that occurs in the final week of this month that ends up being more important to you, a lot more important to you. And I say this for a few reasons. So the first eclipse that's taking place is going to characterize about the first 3 weeks of this month. And it has to do with meeting new people. For you, it has to do with meeting new people, new friendships, new alliances, moving towards your wishes and your hopes. That's one way to interpret this symbol as well. But more than that, I found when this symbol is at play, it denotes a time of new people coming in and finding the right sort of groups and supports and sort of like your clique that is right for you and supports you with where it is that you desire to go next in your life. People who actually can end up being very fortunate for you. And this also looks like there's an element of contacts. So people who have the right contacts to help you get where it is that you want to go next. And in some cases, go better places than you thought you wanted to go. So all this is very nice and good for you. But as I said, I do think it's the later part of the month that ends up being more significant for you. One reason is it's a lunar eclipse. Now, it is events having to do with the moon, and especially important events like an eclipse, that is going to speak more strongly to you because the moon is your ruling luminary. So it is sort of a representation of you in the sky. And so it is important to look at what is taking place with the moon. And with the lunar eclipse, it does suggest that that is going to be more significant for you, fabulous cancers out there, than it is necessarily going to be, all things being equal, for people of other signs. It's going to speak to you more strongly. But the second reason I say this is because when I look at the area of life that this eclipse, this lunar eclipse is going to touch, it has to do with the way that you live your life, the way you go about your business, living your life, the little day-to-day things that you have to do, whether it's going to work, whether it's taking care of yourself, whether it's showing yourself that you're worthy of love by the way that you care for yourself, your habits, the little routines that you have every day, the little rituals that you have every day that reinforce positively or negatively the state of health that you're in. This becomes much more immediate, right? So these areas, these topics are all being touched on towards the end of the month in a lunar eclipse. This suggests that there is going to be a very important closure that takes place, but it looks like something that is not entirely not positive. And what I mean by that is on the same day, we have Mercury, we have Venus, both behaving strongly in the sky as well. And this to me suggests that the changes that take place you actually like, they lead to better, they lead to sweeter, and it is very connected to a bridge between your heart and your mind, an understanding of love more deeply, and how your life is actually a prayer that affirms that love or not. And if it does not, you start to understand that, you know what, maybe it should. Maybe the way that I live and the little things I do should affirm greater love towards myself and towards other people as well. Now, as part of this, there are going to be changes. So for some of you, there are going to be changes in the workplace. So this doesn't necessarily have to do with advancement or increased responsibilities. This doesn't necessarily have to do with moving up the ladder. This is more to do with the environment in which you work, the people who surround you. All of these are very likely to go through some sort of an adjustment, some sort of a change. And what's most likely, because it's a lunar eclipse, is that someone is going to leave, and it's bittersweet. And so there's an affection for this person, and at the same time, you're really excited about where this person is going next, and happy to have had them as part of your daily life for a period of time. The other thing is also your work life. There's a very strong possibility it could change as a result of you getting another opportunity. So this may not necessarily be a massive jump, as I said, up a ladder of sorts, but it's more about you moving towards doing something that feels right to you, that feels good, that feels like you're utilizing more of your talents and more of your abilities. And so you're making changes to the day-to-day way in which you go about earning money or working in order to support you moving towards a life with greater fulfillment, with a greater sense of happiness and ease as you move through it. And then, of course, there are Cancers out there who are going to experience this eclipse much more personally, and it has to do with a change in habits. It has to do with getting honest with yourself about how you are living and whether or not it supports your longevity, it supports who you want to be, it supports how you want to feel. And I am seeing that there is going to be at least, it's almost like there's one habit. There's one bad habit that's going to go. Now, I say this without judgment because I think every single life is filled with habits that maybe some are better than others. But there is no perfect person, and there is no person who lives perfectly. No matter what they tell you, and no matter what may seem like on the surface, that it just does not exist because we're human and we're incarnated and we are imperfect, and it's all for a reason. And the reason is perfect, but our behaviors are not meant to be, because then there's no learning, there's no growth, there's no reflection, there's no self-knowledge. And so you get to engage in this process. You get to ask yourself some important questions. You, fabulous Cancer, are worthy of your own love. And this month it becomes undeniable as you begin to understand this concept and begin to demonstrate it through a change in your daily patterns and in at least one habit. It really is refreshing, and it fills you with new energy, the energy of life, the energy of knowing that you deserve your own attention and your own care. You take care of yourself, and you'll find that anything it is that you want to do in the world becomes a lot easier to reach, to do, to be, and to have.